Jungkook makes a shocking move at Dodger Stadium. Hello everyone, welcome back to K-pop Update. What really happened last night in Los Angeles? What secret was so powerful that it froze Instagram, broke Twitter, and turned TikTok into pure chaos? And the biggest question burning through every fandom space, what is going on between Jungkook and Taehyung? They said it was impossible. They said it would never be revealed. But in a single night, inside Dodger Stadium, Jungkook tore through the silence, and Taehyung stood beside him in the loudest way imaginable, without saying a single word. Fans around the world are still asking, was this the confirmation? Was this the night Taekook finally became undeniable truth? It all began with silence. No teaser. No music video. No press release. Just a black square on the big screen of the stadium. No caption. No hashtags. No context. But when that silence came from Jungkook and Taehyung, ARMY immediately knew it wasn't emptiness. It was everything. Within minutes, chaos ripped through the internet. Twitter collapsed under trending hashtags. TikTok feeds turned into nothing but theories and tears. Instagram slowed to a crawl. Something had happened, something historic, and it began right there in Dodger Stadium. And then the impossible. Jungkook grabbed the mic. No filters. No polished set. No choreography. Just him. Raw. Real. Burning with a fire ARMY had never seen before. His voice cracked, but his words cut through like lightning in a storm. I've been silent long enough, he said, the stadium echoing with his voice. But tonight I speak. And it begins with Taehyung. The crowd froze. Was this it? The moment ARMY had whispered about for years in private chats and late-night theories? The moment that would rewrite BTS history forever? Jungkook leaned closer to the mic, his words trembling but unstoppable. He saved me. When the world wanted me to be perfect, Taehyung reminded me I am human. That I exist. The stadium erupted. Fans screamed, sobbed, collapsed into their seats. This wasn't shipping. This wasn't fiction. This was truth, raw, alive, undeniable. But the storm wasn't over. It was just the beginning. Because Taehyung didn't speak. He didn't have to. Instead, moments later, cameras caught him smiling faintly and raising his hand toward Jungkook, a gesture so simple, yet it carried the weight of 1,000 unspoken words. And then came the voice no one expected, RM. His words cut through the air like a second thunderstrike. I always knew. Not everything. But enough. What they share isn't fake. It isn't scripted. We can't pretend anymore. The world stood still. Did RM just confirm Taekook? And then the line that shattered reality itself. Maybe we've worn masks for too long. Maybe Jungkook and Taehyung are just brave enough to take theirs off first. This wasn't just support. It was validation. It was RM handing them the crown, stepping back and saying, this is real. This is history. Fans lost control. Hashtags exploded worldwide. Hashtag Taekook truth, hashtag Jungkook spoke, hashtag we always knew. It wasn't just trending, it was domination. And then J-Hope struck the fandom with his bomb. On Instagram, he uploaded a carousel of never-before-seen photos of Jungkook and Taehyung together. His caption? Some truths were always there. You just didn't want to see them. The entire Dodger Stadium shook with hysteria. Why did he have those photos? Why now? As if that wasn't enough, Jin joined the chaos. He uploaded a simple OT7 selfie, all 7 of them smiling together. His caption? We always knew. And then the unthinkable. HYBE itself stepped into the storm. The company infamous for control, for its iron grip on narratives, posted its own black square. But this time with words. BTS stands for truth, connection, and growth. We fully support our artists. The fandom gasped. HYBE wasn't shutting it down. HYBE was praising them. The fortress crumbled. The walls were gone. That night, under the blinding lights of Dodger Stadium, it wasn't just about Jungkook and Taehyung anymore. It was about freedom. About idols breaking the machine that had chained them for years and reclaiming their humanity. Jungkook's words were no longer a confession. They were a revolution. I'm not your poster boy anymore, Jungkook said, fire blazing in his eyes. I'm something else. Something real. Something you've never seen before. And Taehyung? He didn't need to speak. His silence was louder than any anthem. His presence, his gaze, his aura, it screamed the truth louder than words ever could. Now the question no one can avoid, what does this mean for BTS's 2026 comeback? RM has already given the world the most haunting answer. Maybe Jungkook and Taehyung are just braver than us. For ARMY, Dodger Stadium will never just be a baseball field again. It became the ground where history was written. The night Jungkook spoke. The night Taehyung answered without words. The night BTS broke their silence and the world finally listened. History didn't just happen, it roared. And tonight it belongs to them. The lights of Dodger Stadium dimmed, but the echoes refused to die. The night was over, the crowd dispersed, yet every fan who walked out carried a fire in their chest, a storm they could not silence. The air of Los Angeles itself felt altered, as if Jungkook's trembling words and Taehyung's unspoken answer had stitched themselves into the very skyline. But ARMY knew this wasn't the end. It was the spark before the wildfire. The morning after, Los Angeles woke to headlines that didn't read like gossip, they read like history. Jungkook speaks. Taehyung answers. BTS changes everything. Major networks replayed the clip of Jungkook on the stadium screen, his voice shaking, his eyes burning, as if the world had just watched the fall of an empire and the rise of something new. And Taehyung? His silence was replayed more than any word. That single glance, that faint smile, that hand raised in Jungkook's direction, it was dissected frame by frame, slowed down, turned into gifs, memes, prayers. Fans swore you could see galaxies in the way his eyes softened, universes in the pause of his breath. The world could no longer dismiss it. The whispers had become screams, and the screams had become headlines. But the storm raged harder when unseen forces began to move. Media outlets demanded answers. Stock markets trembled as HYBE's bold black square shook investor confidence, even as it won the hearts of millions. Fans debated in sleepless marathons, was this freedom, or was it the beginning of something far more dangerous? And in the middle of the chaos, Jungkook disappeared. For 3 days, no sighting. No live. No post. No sound. It was as if the stadium had swallowed him whole. Fans scoured airports, hotels, studios, nothing. Until one shaky fan video surfaced. Late at night. An almost empty street in Los Angeles. A hooded figure walking, head low. A car waiting at the curb. And just before the door closed, the camera caught him. Not Jungkook alone. Jungkook with Taehyung. The video lasted only seconds, but it detonated across the world. The hashtags burned through every platform. Hashtag Dodger Aftermath, hashtag Taekook Together, hashtag This Is Real. They weren't supposed to be seen together. Not like this. Not in the quiet after the storm. But fate or perhaps courage had betrayed them, or maybe set them free. Inside sources whispered of closed-door meetings. American executives. Global campaigns. Netflix scripts. Soundtracks waiting for Taehyung's velvet tone. Billion-dollar contracts dangling in front of Jungkook. And yet, none of that mattered. What mattered was the image of them leaving together, as if Dodger Stadium had not just been a stage but a doorway. A doorway to a truth that could no longer be hidden. RM's words still haunted fans. Maybe Jungkook and Taehyung are just braver than us. If that was true, then what lay ahead wasn't just a scandal. It was war. War with expectations. With traditions. With the machinery of K-pop itself. And in the center of that war, two men walked side by side into the dark, refusing to bow, refusing to lie, refusing to break. Because the truth wasn't whispered anymore. It was shouted inside Dodger Stadium, etched into history, replayed in every fan's heart. The night Jungkook spoke. The night Taehyung answered. The night ARMY realized. This wasn't the end of an era. It was the beginning of one.